You know, I thought the bye week would at least be a little bit better for the Jets, but for some reason, there's always stories coming out about us, even on our days off. Happy bye week, boys and girls. Hit that like button if you're just popping in here. Going to do a little half-hour, 2-hour long stream. We'll see how long this goes. I want to go over a few thoughts. Joe Douglas getting his last laugh in, and some moves possibly being made by a shadow GM within the Jets organization. What the heck is going on? I want to hear from you guys. I want to talk a little bit more about the Aaron Rodgers article from The Athletic and things that have kind of transpired over the last few days. Just want to get it out there and talk to you guys. Boys and girls, this stream is powered by BetUS. If you want to head over and check out their futures, I believe this is going to be updated. This is from just the other day. AFC conference winners. You could bet on the odds there. The other day, Baltimore Ravens plus 350, Houston Texans plus 1,200. Get 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. Those are the two teams that I would kind of look for as a chance to win the AFC overall. This isn't the first seed in the AFC. This is the team representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. So if you think any of these teams have a good shot, might be worth a little bit of time. So head over to BetUS. Boys and girls, I see you in the chat. I see you in the chat. Can we call in? Can we do that? We'll see. Maybe we'll do a little call in towards the end of this. We'll see how I get through everything here. All right. So first off, I want to talk a little bit about Joe Douglas and him getting the last laugh. That was the little thumbnail for this video. This coming by way of Jay Glazer. Jets owner Woody Johnson arrived in his helicopter on Tuesday morning during practice, catching everyone's attention. If you haven't been to Jets Drive and the practice facility, the helipad is like right next to the field. Like you walk past the helipad on your way to like the bleachers and stuff. GM Joe Douglas turned to head coach Jeff Ulbrich and joked, "If they pull me off the practice field, it's been an honor to serve with you." The two initially laughed about it. But Douglas was indeed pulled off the practice field and fired shortly thereafter. I just kind of laugh because like at this point, I don't think Douglas wanted to be here. I think he was more than willing to just ride off into the sunset. And he probably let it be known like, hey, like I'm shopping for homes in Baltimore. Like I know this relationship is over. And Woody Johnson got his nose in a twist and was probably like, well, no, I don't want you to break up with me. I want to break up with you before you break up with me. And then I look bad and we got egg on our face. There's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of also like, hey, now we can actually formally look for GMs. We knew we weren't bringing back Joe Douglas, so it's sort of a nice amicable split either way. But I do think it's kind of funny that that's how it all went down. I don't think it's overly shocking either. Like we just tend to have a lot of news drop on Tuesdays. I don't know where Woody comes from. Does Woody live in the city? I don't know. Why is he flying in a helicopter? Wouldn't it be nice? Like, oh yeah, my commute to work is just on my private helicopter. Billionaire money, baby. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Look, as far as Joe Douglas and how this whole thing shook out, I still like Joe Douglas. I still stand by that. I think he has assembled one of the better teams in the NFL. I shouldn't say one of the better teams in the NFL. One of the better rosters that I've seen this Jets team have. It just has not been put together. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with coaching. Like there's a lot of good talent on this team. We just can't really get anything out of it. Now, Woody Johnson did say this is the most talented roster that we've had since I've been an owner here. Now, back when it was first said, I was like, wouldn't it be kind of funny if he was talking about Woody Johnson pulling all these strings? He fucking was. He fucking was. God damn it. He wasn't talking about Joe Douglas at all. He's talking about I traded for Aaron Rodgers, I got XYZ, I got Mike Williams and Tyron Smith and all these other things. And, it is what it is. Look, there's just a lot of craziness going on from the Jets organization across the board. Super frustrating. Super, super frustrating. Some more stuff that I've seen come out from the Woody Johnson fallout. This coming from U Stadium. The Jets are not expected to bring in a consulting firm similar to Korn Ferry in 2012, but will have help from former sports executives to lead their search, similar to Bob Myers with the Commanders in 2023. Look, I want all the help we can get. I don't know who he's looking at to have help us find a GM and a head coach and whoever else. But man, it very much needs to be, it should not be the Johnsons after all this. In the coming weeks, the organization is expected to bring in veteran GM candidates not currently employed by other teams for interviews. The recent rumors of former coaches Rex Ryan, Eric Mangini making a storybook return are more fabricated social media hype than realistic. I would be surprised. Rex Ryan, to me, I do think there's like a slight nugget of truth to that in the event, like all the top options said, no, we're not going to the Jets, and you wanted to kind of fall back on a fan favorite, and I don't see it as realistic, but I think it's, And then Eric Mangini, I heard people talking about as like a GM candidate because we had the Revis. Was David Harris part of his drafts? I don't know if David Harris was, but Revis was, Mangold, Brick, all those guys. But I don't think either one of those are realistically coming here. Woody Johnson is hesitant to bring in a football guy to run the team as a president. I think Jaime's got the dirty emails from Woody, and that's why he's not getting canned. That's got to be the only reason. We need a president or like a VP, like some kind of like serious football guy. You're not a serious football organization when you have an accountant running the team. You're running it like a business. Not like which is like a shoddy way to run a business too. Don't get me wrong. Like you're out for the quick money, which I get, and selling tickets and season tickets and all that stuff. But like, do you know how much more fans this team would have if we had any kind of playoff success in the last 15 years? I say this about the Giants all the time. They've got 4 Super Bowls in 40 years, or 35 years, or whatever the number is. They don't have a crazy ton of like playoff success outside of that. But because they have those like intermittent successful seasons and they're like sort of relevant, they've been largely pretty terrible for the last 20 years as well. But they consistently have a few seasons here and there where they go all the way or have a deep playoff run, and it drives young fans to the team. If you're a young kid growing up in New York, unless you have family that is like steadfast a Jets or a Giants supporter, and you're just looking out in the field and you're saying, okay, which one do I want to root for? The team that has a drought for 15 years, 14 years, or the team that's got a few Super Bowls and some fun personalities over the course of those years. Odell Beckham Jr., now Malik Neighbors, Saquon Barkley. Like, there's been fun players over there. Get the football guy in here. We need him. The Jets seem more interested in hiring a GM before a head coach. So I wonder, like, I really want to know who they're looking at. I'd love to know. Vrabel is a consultant, and I guess still technically hired by a team, so I guess you can't maybe interview him, but I wouldn't hate that. But I don't think he's coming in to be a GM. Hopefully this is more just doing due diligence. If you fall in love with a guy, fine. I'd like to steal someone from a winning organization. That'd be kind of nice. The thought of trading draft picks for a coach currently employed with other teams has not been shut down. Interesting. So some names that could be floated out there. If Brian Daboll, who caught some strays from Malik Neighbors today, Malik didn't have a target until I think it was the third quarter. It was like after they were down 30-0. And he said, ask Daboll, or ask Dabs, or whatever he calls him. Yeah, look, that's not good. Your best player should absolutely be seeing some targets here. That's certainly on Daboll. But maybe that's like potentially like, hey, we're going to get rid of this guy. Like, you want him? He doesn't have to move. Like, okay, why not? The Aaron Rodgers turmoil released in the last week is a bit overhyped. There has been no discussion of releasing the future Hall of Famer. So there's not really a whole lot that can happen if you release Aaron Rodgers right now. Like, sure, it says like, okay, we're looking towards the future. There's definitely no shot of him coming back, but the cap ramifications are still the same. Since it's a post-June 1st potential cut, it would be partially on this salary cap, partially on next year's salary cap. If you cut him after the season before June 1st, the money that you had in season this year rolls over to next year anyway, and you just you get the same cap hit regardless. So it's not really anything major that sort of way. Look, I don't know. It's just, it sucks. It sucks that we came this far. 2 years ago, I was talking to my buddy Wi-Fi Willie. So if you guys are, any of the Raiders channels and stuff like that, Wi-Fi Willie is a Raiders fan, does Raiders content, fun guy. Was very understood Derek Carr was going to get traded like a year in advance. Like, this guy's dialed into the Raiders. And he sends me a tweet. He's like, hey, dude, I just want to let you know I used your Aaron Rodgers reaction video from when he got signed. Dude, I was so hyped. If you told me 2 years ago that the Jets would have, like, fucking no wins, we'd barely see Rodgers, and, like, maybe have 4,000 yards across 2 seasons, I'd be like, you're high out of your mind. There's no way that's real. No way that's real. That's where we are. It's where we are. Goddamn. Goddamn. All right. Move on to the second part of this equation here. The original tweet coming back November 19th from Albert Breer. Some more from Halloween night on the issues in the New York Jets building. There are people who've worked there who feel like what's said on the internet influences decision-making. Non-football people have big voices. Those who've tried to change it run into this stuff constantly. That is super infuriating. Like, look, no, don't get me wrong. I would love to have some of my ideas taken as, like, wow, this is awesome. Like, this guy's super smart. Fucking pay me. But that's not my job. I'm not hired to do this stuff. I didn't go to school for football. I didn't, coach a zillion years of football and all that stuff. Like, as much as I have great ideas, and a bunch of other internet people have great ideas, don't hang on every word. If you're a football organization that has the ins and outs and knows the football people and gets the interviews and all the... So that was expanded upon by Tony Pauline. I can add this from the Albert Breer report. It's been jokingly mentioned for several years in league circles that Woody's son, Brick Johnson, is the de facto GM of the New York Jets, specifically when it comes to internet influences decision-making, which is exactly what took place. So, Brick, if you're watching, I hope you didn't get some of these moves from me. I really hope not. But man, so if you're thinking like Woody's son, right? Woody's 77 years old. You're thinking it's probably like some 50-year-old, 45-year-old guy. It's just like, I'm on the internet. I see some stuff. 17. Brick is 17. 17 years old. Damn it. Come on. We're not a serious organization. And that's not a knock on, like, Brick. He's a kid. He's allowed to have an opinion. He's allowed to have fun. He's allowed to have excitement. That's what this whole channel's about. We get hyped up about Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Tyron Smith, everyone. All this stuff. I don't fault him. Woody Johnson at 77 years old, you fucking hired a football guy and Joe Douglas let him do football things. Damn it. That's what we get. That's what we get, right? Lots of fun. All right, let's jump into some comment questions that I see in here. Let's see. Big Green says, I called the guy looking for our new GM, Frankie from Flatbush, went on his page and had the guy's number on it. I called. Guy looking for our new GM. Interesting. There's a headhunter looking for a GM? Is that what you're talking about? Curly says, this franchise hates us all. Imagine talking about actual football games and not drama, bullshit, nonsense. Imagine if we could do that. It's been so long. There's some fun theories of what could happen and speculative things based on the draft and positioning. And I'll throw a video together tomorrow about it. But yeah, I'm sick of the drama. I want to talk about actual winning football games or losing meaningful games. Whatever. I want to talk about football. I don't want to talk about all this off the field bullshit. Every year, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Wesley, well, the 49ers lost, so you can imagine the Sturm Mundrang kicked up over the demise of the 49ers, not one season removed from the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Super Bowl hangover is always a big one for teams. Imagine not talking offseason before Thanksgiving. We were talking offseason before November. We were hoping not to. The win against the Texans on Halloween, kind of gave us like a little last gasp of hope. Damn. Wesley Johnson, what is the deal with GMs in New York that look exactly like each other? Is Shane like that? I don't think Shane, maybe he looks like Douglas. I don't think I know what Shane looks like. Harris was drafted by Mangini. I thought so. The owner isn't going anywhere. There's no use on crying. Of course he's not going anywhere. It sucks. We got to leak the dirty nudes or like whatever he's got going on in his email. There's no way Gruden and Snyder are the only ones that had like bad shit in their email. Jaime's got the dirt. Rico, at this point, I can't tell if he's just being cheap with the wrong things or is being paranoid about relinquishing control. It's control, I think. 100%. Uncle Eero says, yup, everyone hating Douglas and Rodgers would be loving this season's results if Woody didn't sabotage the entire offseason and regular season. No, look, I'll be honest. I don't really think a lot of the moves that were made this offseason were like that bad. I think losing Huff, I think Woody stepping in and blocking a Huff extension is really frustrating because I did hear from someone I knew that the Jets were willing to offer $17 million a year to Huff. I don't think it ever got to the point of like offering a contract because I think what we heard was like nothing got presented to Huff and his agent. But from like the rest of the other offseason stuff, like I don't hate drafting Olu. I don't hate bringing in Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, John Simpson. Like it sort of makes sense. JFM getting traded, I didn't really like that. Reddick, I thought was a calculated risk. I don't think anyone thought he would like self-harm himself in terms of like not getting a contract and getting fined a bunch of money. That seems kind of silly. I don't know. I'm more confident in breaking the 25-year playoff drought than anything else this franchise does. 15-year playoff drought. 15-year. Giants had a 35-year stretch where they went to 5 Super Bowls, won 4. That's they're 4 besides that. They're buns like the Jets. Yeah, Charles. They've been terrible. They've been just as bad as us with Super Bowls. Like, give me a little flash in the pan every 5 years. I'll take that. I've had 3 5-year stretches of nothing. It sucks. Joe Douglas came from a winning organization. It doesn't mean shit. He came from Baltimore. He came from Philly. The coaching staff came from San Francisco. Like, we get winning guys in here, and it's a top down. It's the fish rots from the head. It's Woody Johnson, and it just trickles all the way on down the fucking ladder. And in the places that I've worked, not just like my actual career, but like just in general, like jobs that I've had in my life. The leader in an office or in a company, or if you work in a restaurant or whatever, your supervisor sets the tone for how everyone else can act. Whoever's in charge sets the tone for everyone else. Woody Johnson is not a serious owner, and we don't get serious results because of it. Anesia, do we bring back Sexy Rexy with a great OC? I really don't want to see it. If there was some way that Rex was coming back, I'd want it to be like an assistant head coach and defensive coordinator, and us hire an offensive-minded head coach. So if it would be like getting someone like Cliff Kingsbury or something like that. And Christian comes in with like a similar super chat. So thoughts on Rex coming back with a good offensive coordinator? That dude bleeds green and he wants the job bad. Who else is out there begging to do anything with us? So Christian, that's the part that does intrigue me about Rex. And I'll just restate what I just said. I don't want Rex as head coach. Assistant head coach, I could like, it's just a title. I don't mind it. Defensive coordinator, I don't even think he'd be a really good defensive coordinator, to be perfectly honest. I think this team could get by on good players on defense if we had a really good offense that could score some points and apply some pressure. So, like, if you bring in a Cliff Kingsbury, maybe a Joe Brady or something like that, Slowick from the Texans, maybe you consider something along those lines. Rex definitely brings a passion to the team, and to that extent, I do really like Rex. That means a lot to me as a fan, and I'm glad Rex got that one extra year because the team loved him. Like, I remember wanting that. Probably shouldn't have, but I wanted it. I just didn't see Idzik, sabotaging Rex. I don't know. I don't really want to see Rex 2.0 come out here, but I do think it's a possibility. Let's see. Ryan, we keeping Rodgers? No. We're keeping him the rest of this year. I don't think we're going to cut him. He might go to IR, and then you kind of get him like not really out of the building, but just kind of away from the team. Apparently, Rodgers isn't taking medical tests because he doesn't want something to get flagged, which then starts getting me like in this mindset of like, okay, well, if he actually was hurt, and that's kind of what we're seeing, maybe good coaching can turn something around. It seems like this experience is way over, though. Even with like the overhypedness of it all. So I think Rodgers is definitely gone at the end of the season. And it's going to fucking kill me if he winds up having a good year somewhere else. It's going to be like the Brett Favre thing. Granted, Brett Favre did really well here until he got hurt. Benji, we are really inconsistent. Let's look at how we played with Rex, Todd Bowles, even Adam Gase. This coaching staff is the worst of the bunch. Yeah, it sucks because this is the coaching staff that I thought, not so much like the offensive side of the ball. I don't like Keith Carter. I don't really care about Todd Downing. I don't like Hackett. I like Hackett the person. I don't like Hackett the play caller. The offensive side of the ball is a train wreck. Defensively, I liked Ulbrich as DC. I honestly liked Saleh as head coach. I thought he was a nice guy. Just obviously did not get the most out of the offensive side of the ball. The same way we got success from the defensive side. So Adam Gase had us performing better with Frank Gore and like that's why there's a little bit of me who's like, well, maybe Sam Darnold coming back here with the boys. We'll get Josh McCown as OC and Flores come on over. You hate the Dolphins, why not? That's my dark horse that I've been riding with for the last 3 weeks. I don't think it's gonna happen. We'll see. I have no idea which direction they're gonna go. I don't even have an inkling. I'm not mad at Woody. If JD and the coaches wanted to step over him and not bench Rodgers, good for you for getting the boot. Yeah, that part's weird. I would have thought Woody was the one advocating for Rodgers to start, for ticket prices and the hype and everything, and the coaches would have been the ones that have been like, we really think this guy sucks. Wasn't the case. Or at least the story that came out from Rossini says it wasn't the case. Ron, what's up, dude? Hey, buddy, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Would have loved to see Bowers with Rodgers. Dude, I really thought Bowers was going to be the pick. I did not think they were going to go Olu. Olu's ultimately going to be, I think, a fine selection. I think he's going to be a good left tackle for us. But, man, Bowers is special. He's really good. We knew that coming out, though. Jets wanted a weapon. I'm shocked we did not go after it. If we didn't have Ruckert, I think, or Conklin, if we were missing one of the two, maybe there was a little bit more of a push. But Rodgers doesn't really use the tight end, so that was kind of probably factored into that selection. Our team was more valuable with Rodgers upright with the offensive line than with the generational talent at tight end. And they're thinking more of the 1 year, 2 year window, I think, which I'm okay with them thinking that direction. It just sucks when it implodes like this, and you could have had the generational tight end for the new regime. But, hey, it is what it is. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Ron. Mike, this is the most detached I've felt with this team because I know it's not going to change due to the owner being the reason for the lack of success. Dude, I am the same way right now. I have been very lackadaisical with my content creation over the last month or so. Maybe definitely the last month. I would say since the Cardinal game? No, Cardinal game was after the Texans. Whatever game was just before the Texans game was kind of where I was like, man, this like sucks. This is not fun. This was the season that everything was supposed to click. We have the quarterback. We got the talent. Like, the schedule was going to be like semi-favorable, and it all fell apart. So like, I'm just at my wit's end. I don't know what else to do. It very much feels like an owner thing. And with all the stories coming out of him overstepping, like what GM is going to want to come here, what head coach is going to come here, it's really, really frustrating. Honestly, the reason I come back and do these like videos and live streams, I really enjoy the therapy. I really enjoy the therapy. But like, I can't find it in myself to really get overly worked up about stuff other than like stupid like BS that like gets me a little worked up while I'm talking about it. But like emotionally watching the games, like I don't care. I don't care. I want to see some of the good stuff. Like I'd love to see, Olu play well. I'd love to see Tittman play well and Will McDonald play well and like all the young guys. I don't want to get rid of Garrett. I don't want to get rid of Sauce. I don't want all this stuff to happen. I want to keep our good players. But man, our owner definitely makes it hard to like, I want to be proud of our team. That's what I want to be proud of our team. Like I could deal with some losing if I could at least be proud of the team. And it's hard to like rationalize because I don't have a great example of that in my head right now. But like, this is a team that very much over promises and under delivers on an extraordinary level. Solo, I've grown to enjoy the content and interactions of different channels when we suck. Yeah, there's like a masochism to it, right? The punishment of being a Jet fan. Yeah, I honestly, the community on YouTube is really the thing that keeps it all going. Joe Brady and Kingsbury are both not good choices. I agree. Kingsbury, I do think Kingsbury wouldn't be bad. I think the second run around as head coach isn't the worst thing. I also think him having like that hand with Kyler and now having a hand with Jaden Daniels, I think him with like a quarterback of a similar vein might have success here. So I wouldn't be so quick to jump off of Kingsbury. I actually really like Joe Brady. He's already offensive coordinator, so you'd have to promote him to a head coach. And I don't think I want Joe Brady as a head coach, but I do like him as an OC. I wanted him when he was leaving, was it New Orleans or LSU? Where was he first? I think he was with New Orleans first. Then he went to LSU, and then he left for the Carolina job. I really liked him. Niger, Rex Ryan with Frank Reich. That interesting. I'll say that much. Although I still don't really want Rex. That's sort of where I'm at. The target on the back that he put on our back really kind of rubbed me the wrong way towards the end there. People forget what that was like, where it was like we always had tabloids, we always had this big bullseye, and it was like, okay, here we go, we're gonna eat some shit on a stick right now. That's what's coming down the pike. Uncle Era, Douglas didn't want to bring in aging stats. Mike Williams and Smith were not what Douglas wanted. Those were Woody calls. Terrible, terrible calls. So, from my outside perspective looking in, right? I don't have insight into the medical history. I don't have insight into like major NFL circles where these guys are talking and whatnot. But Mike Williams coming off an ACL on an incentive-laden deal is not a bad move in my book. I don't understand why we didn't throw him some back shoulder throws and like, jump balls like that. That makes no sense to me. That feels more like coaching. And then Tyron Smith, dude's cooked. I didn't watch a lot of the Cowboys last year, but apparently that was like well known across the league that no one was interested in him, and that's not good. That's bad. That is. You'd like to have a guy that's plugged in. And I thought Douglas, for the most part, was dialed in from what the league was talking about. Like he understood trade value. He understood the draft board, to a degree. But yeah, I don't know. Not great. Rex gets you something like the Detroit Lions, a team that will fight from the opening whistle to the very last play. Yeah, there's but the shtick gets old when it doesn't work. So after the first 2 years, we signed the wrong players. You wind up signing Sanchez to an extension. You sign Holmes to an extension. 2 players that should not have had extensions at that time. You let Braylon Edwards leave. A bunch of other players, too, that I'm blanking on right now. Ugh. Johnny Reb. Jets content providers need to take responsibility for clickbait opinions that influence Woody. Yep. Sure, why not? Why not? I'd love to know who Brick Johnson is watching or listening to. Apparently he's on Instagram. That's a thing. I don't know if he's watching this channel. Maybe. I was pretty pumped on Le'Veon Bell. We got Le'Veon Bell a while back. Maybe that was like when he was younger. I would just want a Le'Veon Bell, Dad. I'll get you, Le'Veon Bell. Oh, man. Who took over when Favre left? I know. We're going through. Time is a circle. We're in this cyclical crap. Rex. Ugh. Slaps, whether it's defensive or offensive-minded head coach, we need someone who is going to make this team play hard on both sides of the ball. Yeah, I think when you have an offense that's firing on all cylinders, it kind of like juices the defensive guys because they get to tee off and pass rush or take advantage of some errant throws and whatnot. Like that's where I think the money's made. And I think the defensive guys can get hyped up from like an older, wiry kind of guy like a Wade Phillips and, insert whatever old defensive guru you got with a young offensive mind. That's what I'd like to see. Fans forget the last 4 years of Rex Ryan on the Jets. Yeah, like aside from the locker room like explosion where it was like super exciting, where like, we're keeping Rex, like that was fun. I liked it, but it sucked the last 4 years. It was not good. JMO, Woody Johnson is smart for making season tickets renew early. Dude, I feel so bad for Jet season ticket holders. Like, you guys, actually, no. You know what? If you bought season tickets or re-upped your season tickets at that point, shame on you. Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it then. It was bad. Bad at the time. They raised prices. Kudos to everyone. I like seeing videos of people saying, like, I'm not getting my season tickets. I'm not doing it. I talked to a few of my friends who make content, who have season tickets. They're not doing it. Like, nope, not going to do it. I wouldn't do it. I don't know how you justify it. Your value depreciates immediately as soon as the season starts. You get to November, those tickets are $15 a pop. You spend $170 a ticket or $150 a ticket. There's no discount for going on season tickets, and you got to buy the $75 parking pass. I was offered free box tickets for the Jets-Colts game. I said, this team's not worth the parking pass. Thank you, but no thank you. Wild. If you had told Ryan this, that there's an opportunity to see Aaron Rodgers in a New York Jets uniform with an offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year, and all this stuff, and you got box tickets to go, and I said no. Not good. Not good. Thank you, JMO. Let's see. Where are we at? We're at the 33-minute mark right now. So maybe we'll do a few calls, talk to people, talk to chat. Let's see what's going on. I got something else I gotta throw in here too. Right. Let's see. No, John P. Ryan, you rule. Thanks for all the great content. Nah, John, comments like that. That make me keep coming back. Anisha, what are we looking for in this draft? Look, honestly, I would like a quarterback because I think that allows you to keep some of this younger core together. There's hope in a quarterback. If you don't take a quarterback, or you don't bring one in free agency that appeases some of the players that might or more likely will be asking for trades, I think you're going to wind up selling off a lot of good pieces that you're not going to be able to recoup with the draft picks you have. That's my thoughts. As far as other positions, I'm open to a few different things. I'm not, there's so many variables still at play. I would say if Devontae Adams doesn't come back, wide receiver probably jumps to the top of my list, because if we don't go quarterback, I think Garrett gets traded. So I think we get really, really thin at wide receiver very fast. The kid from Arizona is really good. He's like 6'5", catches everything that goes towards him. The edge rusher Abdul Carter from Penn State is getting Micah Parsons comparisons, obviously the Penn State connection and the number, but this guy's like a stud. I wouldn't mind getting him as an edge rusher with JJ coming off an Achilles. You don't know how that's going to play out. Will McDonald obviously took a nice step, but I wouldn't be against an edge rusher. There's the defensive tackle from Michigan. I'm fine if they want to go that route. This isn't a great year to go offensive tackle, like if you wanted to round out the offensive line. So I probably wouldn't want to go that early on in the draft. There's a few good corners. If you do that, I think you're probably considering trading Sauce and keeping, some of these other players. I don't know. I don't think cornerback's going to be on the menu. I feel like I'd be a little surprised to see that. All right, boys. Before we continue, just want to thank the other sponsor of our show, Via. Need a break from the crowded stores and endless gift list? Restore your zen and embrace the natural power of hemp this holiday season with Via. This holiday season, unwind and recharge with Via, whether you're enjoying a quiet evening at home or embracing the festive cheers. Via's premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. Via is well-renowned for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies and vapes, THCA flower soothing topicals, and calming drops, all crafted with the highest quality hemp, sourced and trusted, independently owned American farms. And the best part, Via legally ships to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with worry-free guarantee. No medical card required. And right now, Via is having a huge holiday sale. For a limited time, you can save up to 25% off site-wide, plus up to 50% off select items and bundles. If you're hearing this ad post-sale, you can still save by using code JETSTALK for 15% off. So if you're 21 or older, check out the link in my description to head over to Via's website. This holiday season, gift yourself some peace of mind. If you're 21, check out the link in the description. For a limited time, 25% off site-wide, 50% off select items and bundles. Head over. Use promo code JETSTALK. Boys and girls, Becca has enjoyed the CBD gummies. They have some nighttime Zen gummies. I don't know if I brought them upstairs. I think I got them downstairs. Her sister came into town. She's sleeping at the mom's house 2 streets over. She got a little bit of the gummies. I've been eating the gummies. They're good. And look at this, the product. The packaging they give you is just really, really nice. It's spot on. It was actually like a really impressive display that they sent over. So I've enjoyed it. If you guys are game, head on over into the description. Always appreciated when you guys support the sponsors of the show. All right, what else you guys talking about in here? Me, Darrett. Woody panicking and firing Saleh torpedoed the season. I don't think they should have fired Saleh when they fired him, which leads me to believe maybe they're not watching me because I was very vocal on not firing Saleh at that point. I wanted to demote Hackett first, and then if we lost the Bills game, then you pull the plug on Saleh. I think you just had to. With the percentage chance of making the playoffs getting worse and worse each week, you have to shake something up to just see if something sticks. And unfortunately, the head coach is one of them. Now, wouldn't have worked out either way, I don't think. I don't think Robert Saleh would have saved this season by any stretch. Joe S. says, man, Genie is GM, Rex is head coach, Darnold quarterback. Let's complete the circus. Dude, my coworker and I have been like, dude, clown car's open, come on in. I'm just not taking this team seriously anymore. This team is a circus. It's a 5-ring, 10-ring, 3-ring, zillion-ring circus, whatever it is. I don't care. I'm just going to embrace the crazy. I'm here for it. Why not? At least entertain me. They haven't even done that, though. Let's bring back Rex, get Mangold and Bart, maybe sell the team to Broadway Joe. I would love if Broadway Joe owned the team because that would mean Woody Johnson doesn't. Red John, how about Ben Johnson, Lions OC? I would love to get him. You could hand him a blank check, tell him to pick his GM. I'm on board. Why not? If you get the Ray Agnew, the assistant GM, and Ben Johnson, why not? I'm on board. OG Barry, at least you guys can't lose the bye week. It certainly feels like we did. All the tabloids been coming out the last 5 days. Certainly feels like we did not, like we had a game and we lost. That's what it feels like. Right now, Jets are sitting at the 7 pick in the NFL draft. Had a little bit of help today, but because of strength of schedule, it's playing out a little bit not great for us. But as the season goes on, because we play teams like the Jaguars and the Dolphins twice, we're going to have an opportunity to make our strength of schedule more favorable in that ranking system. I think we're going to wind up picking between 3 and 5. That'll be my guess. Oreo, what's up, dude? Here's what happens. Here's what's going to happen. You ready? Jets are going to win some meaningless games and drop our draft. New regime are going to miss on the pick. First year, we'll win 5 games, and the Johnsons will intervene. So I don't think they're going to intervene in year 1. But I do think that we're going to win some meaningless games. The Jaguars know how to tank. So I'm sure we will beat the Jaguars. We'll wind up beating a team we shouldn't, like the Rams or something like that. Well, actually, even the Rams don't even look super good tonight. They're losing 20-7 right now. I don't know. I kind of want Rodgers to keep playing because it's helping our draft stock. If you put in Tyrod Taylor, I do think the Jets are going to win some games, and you're going to wind up picking between that 5 to 10 range. And now you're kind of in no man's land where you're just like, well, we're not attracting anyone with our draft status. And a lot of the really good players at the top of the board are gone. I don't know if they're going to take a quarterback early. I have no idea where they're going to go. No Jordan Travis. I like Jordan Travis. I don't think we're going to see him this year. I think it's a next year thing. And I'm not going to pass on a quarterback because of Jordan Travis. We did that once before with Christian Hackenberg. And we passed on we passed on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson that year. Do not do it. If you like a quarterback, take him. Benji, can we actually say this would be happening if Rodgers gets benched like Woody says? I mean, I can't imagine the locker room's in a good spot if Rodgers gets benched. If they could have said hey, he's injured right now, which he definitely looked like it, but if they were like, hey, you got to go on a short-term IR at least for right now, and now all of a sudden you have the Tyrod Taylor leading us to a few wins, because you probably win a few of those games in that stretch, right? You probably could have, if he didn't. It said that it happened after the Broncos game, so you figure we lose the Broncos game, and then you have the Minnesota game where Rodgers had 2 interceptions. What were the games after that? Man, this whole season's just blowing right past me. I'm not even remembering what we played anymore. But I think we would have won some. M. Darrett, you cannot trade Garrett Wilson. I don't want to. I think it's just possible we are going to. And I think it's more so because he doesn't want to be here. I think if he's not chirping about wanting to get a huge contract, or even if he wants a huge contract from us, if he's like, hey, I'll take 4 years, 115 or whatever the number has to be, sure, why not? I would like to keep him around. I think he's a really good player. I think he's a really good person. And I think he's trying. I think he's really trying to play right now. I think Hall's trying to play right now. I think Quincy and Quinnen are both trying to play right now. And those are the kind of guys you don't let walk out the door when you're in a losing season. I think that those are personalities. Not that I'm saying Sauce is giving up or any of that stuff, but Sauce looks bad. Sauce does not look good right now. There's other guys trying, but those two, it feels feels really good. Vincent says, Ryan, I go to Penn State and I've gone to every home game. And oh my God, Abdul Carter is so insane. If he doesn't get a sack or a tackle for a loss, he is getting held and a penalty will be thrown. Penn State to the natty. Dude, I really like Abdul Carter. From my early watching, if this guy makes it to pick 7 and that's where we're at, that's, depending on what happens. I think the receiver's the other piece of this puzzle that is intriguing to me, depending on what happens with Adams and Garrett's, mindset. But I like Abdul Carter a lot. I like him a lot. He's got, before this weekend, he had 8 sacks and I think it was 14 or 15 tackles for a loss. Maybe it's even more than that. But it seems like the dude's always getting held, or always has like an opportunity to make some noise. That's who we want. Rex was telling Tannenbaum who to draft, just like Mangini did. Yeah, Mangini had a better head for drafting, I think. Rex clearly did not. I thought if we could have had Rex as a head coach with like Joe Douglas as the GM, I actually thought that would have been a pretty good combo, because I think I actually like what Joe Douglas was doing from like a, there were things that didn't work out, of course, like Laken Tomlinson stunk, his first 2 draft classes stunk, there's a lot to not like, but I thought Rex's biggest issue was him getting too like on board with like players and stuff. Oreo, regret not taking Bowers or McBride. They look great. McBride, not so much, because didn't McBride go like, was he first round, or he went maybe just after Hall? Was that year? I'm getting my years mixed up now. Bowers, I do think was a mistake. I think man. I like Bowers. I think Bowers is a better player than Olu. I think Olu is the player we needed if we wanted to go on a Super Bowl run with Garrett, or with Rodgers not taking advantage of tight ends. I think that might have been the calculus that went into it, and I can understand that. Boba Jet said, ready for the mini rebuild, ready to be happy. Yeah, look, I'm ready to get out of this season and just look forward to the offseason. It sucks because like I want to enjoy football season. I really look forward to football season every single year, and to like just have a shitty team year in and year out. It's just like, come on, dude. Ricardo Green says Sauce would look great in a Bills uniform. If they traded Sauce in division, I would be so mad. I would be so mad. Send him to the opposite conference, highest bidder, if that's what you want to do. I don't think it's worth selling on Sauce right now. I would give it another year. See what this regime looks like. You would be selling low on Sauce. 2 all-pro seasons back-to-back, and then this year wouldn't be a good way to go out. Julian, thank you for the super chat, says, what do you think of the report that Rodgers will be benched or placed on IR? Sorry if you talked about it, just arrived. That's all right, Julian. Appreciate the super chat. I do think, so from what I heard, Rodgers is avoiding medical checks, and it does look like he's hurt. I saw Boomer talking about it on his show the other day, and he was saying like, man, that front leg, that left leg doesn't look right. I don't know if it's a hamstring injury or leg injury or ankle injury, whatever it is. It feels like he can't like move at all. And that could just be, an Achilles injury to a 41-year-old player, and it just is what it is where he's at. But I do think he's hurt. Something doesn't look right. This does not look like the Rodgers of old. And him wanting to play 2025 sort of tells me like he believes it too. Like he thinks like, hey, 1 year removed from, an Achilles injury and then all this other stuff. I think there's something to it. I don't think he's going to be benched. I think if anything happens, he'll go to the IR. It'll be like a, hey, we tried to work it out, it didn't work out. His time's going to end in New York like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to see him stop playing because I think he's actually good for the tank. I think we're gonna keep losing if he keeps playing. That's what I would like to see. Joshua, any thoughts on Drew Aller? So I need to watch a little bit more. He's not a mobile quarterback. I want like a mobile quarterback, but he's a big quarterback. He's got a strong arm. It's that Northeast style of play because he's in Penn State. Like he's used to the elements and the weather. Like that is all appealing to me. From what I've heard from Dom C and his analysis of the quarterback class so far is that Drew needs another year to sit. Milroe from Alabama needs another year to sit. And then even like Cam Ward, like you don't necessarily want to start him right away, even if it's like 6 games into a season. Sanders has a really high ceiling, but he's not going to come here. I think he's going to Vegas. I think he's going to wind up being a Raider. But I like Aller. Thoughts on Jake Reslaf? That's the BYU kid, isn't it? That's the name that strikes me as that. And I would say no. I don't want that. If I'm wrong on the name, let me know who he is, because I don't know who it is offhand. I just became a Pittsburgh Steelers fan until we get Rex and Sam Darnold back on the Jets. The Steelers are a fun team to root for. Justin Fields, if he winds up leaving, I could sign up for Justin Fields 2025. I would be all right with that, because now you got Fields and Brees and Braylon Allen, and that's just like a punishing style of offense. I'm concerned about his throwing ability, but the Ohio State relationship, I think he played 1 year with Garrett. Is that right? 2018? No, I don't think he did. I don't think they did. I don't think they overlapped. Is that right? No, yeah, of course he did. I'm thinking Fields came out with Darnold. No, that's wrong. They absolutely overlapped. They played together. 2021, Garrett came out in 22. I'm an idiot. Yeti, my 6-year-old just told me the Jets are losers. I couldn't get mad. I had to sit down and try to explain our fandom. Thanks, Woody. Yeah, I've been bear hugging my 2-year-old, and the only way she's allowed to be let go is if she goes Jets, 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 which is probably a terrible thing for someone to do. It's borderline child abuse to make them Jets fans at this point. Knowing what we know, ugh. We need to keep our young core in place and build around them. There is too much young talent to rebuild. Good coaching and a good QB would win immediately with this talent. Yeah, I agree. I like Milroe. Of all the quarterbacks right now, I don't love taking him in the top 10 right now, and that could change. Maybe I see like the college football playoffs or whatever, or some big games here or there, and like through the scouting process, I fall in love with him. I think he's going to go first round. If I could get a top player with our top 10 pick and then trade up into the back end of the first to get Milroe, I think that's kind of what I would like to see. He's a very fun player to watch. Almost like a Jalen Hurts style. Like there's a little bit of learning that probably has to go on. From what I've seen, the processing is like a little slower right now, but dude has big playmaking ability. Question: if Sauce plays the way he did this year, next year, do we trade him? Do we keep him? Do we sign him for less? If he plays bad next year, his downfall needs to be studied. Yeah, if he plays like this next year, it's a really, really big problem. And I don't know how you don't trade him. The only way you wouldn't trade him would be if you just don't get anything of value for him at that point. I would think someone would gamble on like the Jets being incompetent and probably throw you a first-round pick, but you hope he comes back to form and then you don't have to trade him. Now, if you're in this offseason and someone says, hey, we'll give you 2 firsts for Sauce, I'm not going to fault anyone for taking that trade. I don't want to see that. I really like Sauce. I was very high on Sauce coming out of the draft. I don't want to see it. I would rather bank on him rebounding. Every GM and the scouting department in the league go by the coaching staff style of play. This is no big secret. Yeah, there's absolutely a synergy between the two, coach and GM, or at least there should be. The year we had Idzik and Rex, there was clearly not. Mark from Asbury Park. Hello. You play to tank the game. Do I have my button? I have it.
You play to win the game.
Oh, that was good. AJ Osborne, Jameis Winston. I wouldn't be upset with Jameis. I think the issue with Jameis is that I don't know how much the Jets are going to invest financially in a quarterback. I think they would do it with a draft pick. But I think you're probably looking at a lower rung option. Like it might be like a Trask, Tyrod Taylor, and Jordan Travis competition, and then we figure it out in 2026, which I really don't want to see, because I think that's when you start really considering trading players like Brees and Garrett and Sauce, and I don't want to see that. So I would like to see a quarterback come in. I don't want them to stretch for it. Ron, what's up, dude? If you put yourself in Woody's shoes over the years, he has been quiet until a few years ago. No, I don't agree, because I do think the Tim Tebow trade was all Woody Johnson. I think the Brett Favre trade was all Woody Johnson. I don't think the Brett Favre trade was wrong, though. I think it would have worked out. I don't think the Aaron Rodgers trade was wrong. I think that would have worked out. I just think the forcing of the trade to happen before the draft was very much Woody. Woody feels like he's meddled a lot since he came home from the UK. I don't remember him having this much influence over previous years. Yeah, I don't know. The one thing I'll say about Woody that I do think is good is he's not cheap. Like, for all the like the stupid stuff we say about him and everything, him and the Mars, the only owners in the NFL, I believe, that fully funded their stadium. No taxpayer dollars went to it. He spent the money on free agents, whether they've worked out or not. He's not afraid to throw the money at them. So I give him some credit for that. But that's really about it. GMs in Land Empire says, when he was quiet was during the Herm Edwards era. Yeah, when he first got the team and he didn't know what the hell was going on. If not, Rex, Brian Flores. So I really like Brian Flores a lot. If there was someone that I like on vibe could go out and get, that's the guy. And I don't want to do it because I would like an offensive-minded head coach. But if you start striking out and missing, and it's like you could feel and read the room, that's going to be kind of embarrassing for like this head coaching search. I think Brian Flores, given the opportunity with this staff, I think he immediately fires up the defense. I think he hates the Dolphins. He's probably the only person from a head coaching perspective that hates the Dolphins more than I do. I would love to see that sort of vitriol come in here. I bet there's still some sort of, feelings towards the Patriots. He's been in the division. I mean, granted, not for 5-6 years now. And then when I look at head coaches, I say, like, guys that get fired, and I say, wow, I'm surprised he got fired. Vrabel and Brian Flores are the two guys that I look at and I say, that didn't pass the sniff test. I don't think Vrabel comes here because he had issues with a contentious owner. With Woody, I think they could sell him on, look, I just want to win. I want someone who's passionate and wants to win. I think you are pissed off and you want to get your second chance. I just hope he's not blackballed by the league. He told the league, or reported to the league, that the Dolphins owner was offering to pay him, I think it was $500,000 per loss that he had. Oreo, why were you so opposed to signing Justin Fields last year, but you're okay with signing him next year? Make it make sense. Oh, I can make that make sense real quick. It's not that I didn't want to see Justin Fields as a backup. It's that the GM that drafted Joe Douglas was not going to bring in the quarterback that he passed over on to get Zach Wilson in here. That flat out what was going on. I would be on board with Justin Fields. I like him. If you go back and watch the Clemson-Ohio State game, me, Bean, and Matt did a live stream for that, I thought Justin Fields was going to be the pick. I thought that's where we were going to go. He just has a grit about him. He has a swagger about him. There's I think players want to play with him. I just don't think he's a great passer right now. I don't know if that's something you could fix. Vince says, Alar is mobile like Josh Allen light. He's humongous and has a large arm like Josh Allen. However, he should go back for his senior year. Yeah, that's what Dom was saying. He should go back. I didn't realize he was like Josh Allen light. I always kind of considered Daniel Jones that, but I didn't think Daniel Jones had like the mentality that Allen has. I would be on board with Alar. I mean, even if you had to sit him for a year. I got to go through. I got to really look at all the quarterbacks because I haven't done them justice by me just spitballing who I kind of like, offhand. Cameron, Vrabel is my choice for head coach. I feel he could turn us around. If you have the opportunity to get Vrabel, you do it. You go out and you do it. That would be my number one choice. I don't think he's going to want to come here, but that would be my number one choice. Nicholas, how can you say getting Rodgers was a good thing? Are you off your meds? Look, my thought process and evaluating the decision is based on the knowledge we had at the time of doing it. It's very easy for me to sit here and tell you today, look, If you trade for Aaron Rodgers, he's going to have a shit 2024 campaign. He's going to tear his Achilles 4 plays in. Don't do it. Like, that is easy to say that right now. But when you go back and you're in the moment, you could say Derek Carr, and I would have been fine with that. I would have been fine with a Derek Carr. But I think most fans would say, hey, look, Rodgers had a broken thumb on his throwing hand in a down year when he didn't participate with the offseason program. I think if you get him motivated, you change the scenery, he heals up his hand. With this roster in place, all we need is game manager. All we need is what he's doing this year. If you had the statistics he had this year on last year's team with last year's defense and last year's Zerline, this is a good fucking football team. So I'll say it again. Look, I think the move to get Rodgers was the right move. It didn't work out. It did not work out. There's decisions you make that have sound logic that don't work out. And that, unfortunately, is one of them. Now, if a team comes in and signs Rodgers to a big deal next year and they get the same thing we saw the last 2 years plus the year at his final year in Green Bay, that's shame on them. Sorry. That's like, I understand the we doing it. I don't understand someone else doing it, though. We playing Tyrod next week or what? I don't think so. Unless Rodgers gets IR'd, I don't think we see Tyrod. And even then, even if he does get IR'd, I think there's a chance you see Martinez just to like Tommy Cutlets it, like just see what we can do. Brian, 33% of rookie quarterbacks actually make it in the NFL, save the money, get the veteran every time you need one, and continue on. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that too. And I think when you draft a quarterback high, particularly in this market with the pressure of like needing to save a franchise and save a city, I think that's too much for a kid coming out of college. I do like going the veteran quarterback route. When you look at the veteran quarterbacks we've had, those have been our most successful seasons outside of, Mark Sanchez and, Chad sitting for a bunch of years. You had Vinny Testaverde going to an AFC championship game. You have Brett Favre. Probably we were the 1 seed in the AFC until he got hurt. Ryan Fitzpatrick, best season we've had in the last 15 years. And what should have been Aaron Rodgers. McCown played all right for us. I think the veteran quarterback is probably the way to go. In hindsight, Baker was the player to get. I loved Baker coming out. I really did. I don't think I would have taken Baker over Rodgers, but in hindsight, Baker was the correct move to make. Why too late? Like Tyrod gonna be on the team next year, isn't he? Yeah, no, Tyrod's gonna be on the team next year. He'll be here. It'll be Tyrod versus Jordan Travis, plus I think either a rookie quarterback or a like low end like Trask type quarterback that's not really going to do anything crazy. Mud Vials coming into the stream late says, Shadow GM Ryan, what in the hot bananas are you talking about? Would you want John Dorsey at GM with Flores or Rex at head coach with Daboll as OC? If you could give me Flores and Daboll, that would be legit. I'd be on board with that. With Dorsey, sure, sign me up. But as far as Shadow GM, we're talking about Brick Johnson, the 17-year-old kid of Woody Johnson, which is crazy. Imagine your dad had you when he was 60. Crazy. That is late in life. Joe S., any chance Jets trade for Kevin Stefanski? Yeah, I do think there's a chance. I think that's kind of the... We talked about a tweet earlier on here from U Stadium that said, the thought of trading draft picks for a coach currently employed with other teams has not been shut down. So if there's an opportunity to get Stefanski, I would be okay with that. Now, what are you going to have to give up to get him? Are you giving up a top 10 pick? Are you giving up your second round pick? Are you giving up the third that you got in the trade down last year? I don't know what a trade for a head coach ultimately looks like, but I do think head coach and like culture and like change is our biggest need right now. So I would be open to it. Do the Raiders still own Gruden's rights? Like, if Gruden wanted to come back and be like, okay, hey, you know, I signed that Barstool deal or whatever deal he just signed, but, like, I'm really feeling this coaching thing. Would you have to trade for that type of coach, or was he, like, released from his contract and he can sign anywhere? Gruden would be a weird one. I don't love everything he's done. I don't know if he's necessarily the best offensive mind for the NFL right now, but would certainly fall in the culture change category. Joshua Hall, my dream quarterback room next year is Kirk Cousins as a starter with 𝐂𝐼𝐴𝐼 sitting behind him for 2 or 3 years. 𝐂𝐼𝐼 is a second or third round prospect with Josh Allen, Carson Wentz prime ceiling. So if you could get 𝐂𝐼𝐼 in the second, I like that. Could you imagine my whole series, this whole channel started with the thought of the Jets getting Kirk Cousins. My first video, why the Jets will get Kirk Cousins. We're going to get him next year. And it would be for cheap too, because he's got a contract with the Falcons that I believe has guaranteed money, so you wouldn't have to sign him for all that much. What do we see? I see Tigo in here. Friend! What's up, Tigo? Good to have you in here. Jameis Winston and Justin Fields are the only free agent quarterbacks I'd even consider bringing in. The rest are trash this upcoming free agency. Yeah, I think it's either going to be drafting a quarterback. I think Fields has an outside shot. I think there's a chance Fields does come in. It depends who's our head coach. Ryan, we have a team laced with talent. Bring Rex Ryan back. You know what? Look, for the entertainment factor, and Rex like understands like, hey, 2 years and it doesn't work out, you're out. Like, if we have to swallow a tough pill for 2 years, like if I had to have Adam Gase or Rex Ryan for 2 years, Rex would be the pill I'd swallow. But I don't want that. Why are we speaking like Rodgers like he's gone? Because he is gone. He's done. Dunzo. Can we get Chucky as the GM? I'd be on board with it. I don't know. I don't know how much influence he's had over like draft picks in the past. And does he have enough of like a presence to have that filter down to the rest of the team? Cousins never wanted to be here. Yeah, I know. If a coach is fired, they are free to work anywhere. Team only owns the coach's rights if the coach retires or steps down. That's what I wasn't sure about, Tigo. With what happened with Gruden, was he fired or was it like a weird thing with the NFL? Because he's got a lawsuit pending right now where he's like supposed to be, I would think, going to settle for some massive money because he was definitely targeted in that email leak. Yeah, Gruden's an odd one, but I would think he could sign probably anywhere. You would take Gruden before Rex? Yes. Yes, I would, because it's different. I like Rex, but we've tried Rex. I'd rather try Gruden than try Rex. As shiz next year will be, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Jordan Travis can do. Yeah, if we have to like, if we're just gonna roll into it with like, hey, Jordan Travis is the guy, like whatever, and then we're just gonna, if we're gonna stink, we're gonna stink, or if we're gonna fly because he's doing well. Sure, why not? Like I can understand that thought process. I do think you're gonna wind up losing players though. I think at the trade deadline is probably when you're gonna see some guys move, and then it's gonna be a lot harder to rebuild at that point. The player that I think is an interesting player, which I'm going to do the research right now on the contract because I don't know how it works out. But there's an interesting scenario that I've seen brought up by a few people. Let's see. So right now, Jacksonville owns the number 1 pick. Giants are tied. Vegas is tied. So 2 of the 3 teams are looking for a quarterback, but there is the thought, like let's say the Jets end up with the 3rd pick next year in the draft and Jacksonville is still sitting at 1. Would you consider trading number 3 overall for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence just signed a big contract. And I don't know if it's even, they may not even be able to like trade him. That's the issue. But if you could get Trevor Lawrence for the number 3 pick on the contract he's currently sitting on, would you do it? And then basically the Jaguars would take Jordan Travis Travis Hunter with the 1 pick, and then they would take their quarterback, whether it be Cam Ward or Sanders, with the 3 pick. That's sort of the mindset with that thought experiment. And let me read you what the numbers would be if it did work out that way. It's not terrible, believe it or not. 2025, you would have a $9 million cap hit. 2026, you would have a $16 million cap hit. 2027, you would have a $27 million cap hit. 2028, no guaranteed money left. But if you kept him, would have a $39 million cap hit. And then 2029 is when it like explodes, and then it's like an $80 million cap hit. So you'd have to, at that point, probably 2028 is when you'd renegotiate that year. He doesn't have any money left on his deal, and you'd stretch it out. But I don't know if that's remotely feasible to do, or if the Jaguars would even consider that. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is a bad quarterback. I think he's had a lot of players drop a lot of passes. I think he's been in a weird spot. And I would rather roll the dice on a veteran Trevor Lawrence than, maybe throwing a high-end rookie just into the fire. And I might be in the minority in this thought process. If you have to give up more than the 3 pick, I don't know how much more I'd be willing to go. The 3 pick's so valuable because you're getting a quarterback at that point, or Travis Hunter, or any player, the best player that's a non-quarterback, if you want to go that route. I don't know. There's going to be some interesting things we can talk about. I see a lot of people say Lawrence is a surfer dude, not a winner. Lawrence is super average. A lot of drops and really poor O-line. Yeah, I do think he's better than what he has been. Jaguars would have to get Aaron Rodgers and that 3 pick. I don't think anyone's trading for Aaron Rodgers, unfortunately. Keep Goldilocks in Jacksonville. People talking shit about Lawrence don't know ball. Yeah, look, I think he's a good player. Trevor's today's Sam Bradford, but Trevor doesn't get hurt. Sam Bradford was always hurt. Bradford was a good quarterback. Lawrence is basically Ryan Tannehill in his prime. Oh, God, I don't remember Ryan Tannehill in his prime. Not really, at least. I guess that's probably a pseudo-fair comparison. I think the ceiling for Lawrence has got to be a lot higher, I would think. He's the hottest woman in the NFL. I don't know. He kind of looks like a horse. He's got a long face. Oh, geez. Lawrence isn't bad. He's just not worth number 3. Well, the worth of number 3. So think of it this way. You have him under contract, so you don't have to renegotiate anything. He's getting paid not bad cap hits. Like Jacksonville would be taking the brunt of that contract. Would you rather sign Mike Vrabel or Rex? Mike Vrabel all day. All day. Lawrence has been pretty inaccurate this season. I see him missing throws all day on red zone. All right, you know what? Let me do a little recon right now, because Pro Football Focus does have an adjusted completion percentage stat. So let's see real fast what we're playing with here. We're gonna go by position, quarterback. Where's adjusted completion percentage? That's in here somewhere. Adjusted completion percentage. And we'll say minimum dropbacks 50%. Oh, you're not wrong. Adjusted completion percentage for Trevor Lawrence, 71.2. That is 27th in the league in completion percentage. In adjusted completion percentage, not actual completion percentage. In terms of actual completion percentage, he is 27th as well, 61.3. So really not good. All right. You know what? I was under the impression he was doing better than that. But I would say I'm wrong. Mutt Viles, Dion is going to head to the Jags and draft his boy first overall. Trevor gets traded to us for a 2, a 5, and Corley. Daboll at OC can turn him into Josh Allen with the right, with our top 5 pick. We trade back or draft the best wide receiver and sign Jamal. Mutt Viles, no. Thank you for the 20 spot, but no, that's not happening. I don't think Dion's going to coach his son. I think Dion could go down to Jacksonville and be the head coach for Trevor Lawrence. I think that's possible. I do think that Sanders is going to end up going to the Raiders. I think the marketability there, the no state income tax, warm weather, that feels to me where Sanders is ultimately going to go. But would I do a 2, a 5, and Corley? Yes. All day. All day. It's not going to happen, though. Tigo, sorry, dude. You're so hungry for a quarterback. You've talked yourself into thinking trading a 1 for Trevor is a good idea. Go to bed. Yeah, I did. Although now looking at the completion percentage, it has me a little more leery than I was just prior to that. I think we're just going to take our medicine next year. I don't know if a quarterback's coming in the beginning part of this draft. I don't know if it's necessarily the best move. I want it to be because I think you hold on to Garrett and some of the other guys a lot more. I think if you don't go quarterback, you really got to hope Jordan Travis is the guy, or if Justin Fields or something like that is the guy. I'd like to watch Fields play. Marvin Guns. Could you see Woody selling the team to Elon? I don't think so. Why would Woody want to sell? He's making so much money off this team. It's ridiculous. Like there's no incentive for him to sell. For almost any owner to sell. Could I see Musk owning a team? Sure. I could see that. I wouldn't really want that for our team, though. Woody is Art the Clown. Yes. He's also our clown. Our clown. Tigo says, you've accepted 2025 as a lost year. Jordan Travis is going to get us the number 1 pick in 2026, and we get Arch. Do you think they would allow Arch to go here? I feel like Arch, if Peyton went, if you could get Arch and he wouldn't go back to school, I'm on board. I'm game with that. I could do that. I don't think it's happening. Got to poke that nerve with you, Ryan. You hit a nerve. You hit a nerve. Not a bad one, but you hit a nerve. Ugh. Jaguars are going to end up in the UK. Yeah, imagine they trade. We're going to trade owners. We're going to get Shahid Khan or whatever, however you pronounce his name, and Jaguars are going to get Woody. You stay over in the UK. Don't come back. Do not pass go. Random man. Would you consider bringing in the Rizzler? Problem is, then you have to deal with Big Justice. That's a whole bunch of words I don't really understand. I'll be honest. Who's the Rizzler? Do I not understand slang anymore? I'm finding out I'm getting older and older as I go. So I don't know what the hell that meant. Best case scenario, Jets wind up with Nico Lamaliva if we are going to get a quarterback in 2026. I don't know that either. Random man doesn't even know my name. It's okay, Matt. No one really knows what it means anyways. I get called Matt way more frequently than you'd believe. When we were at the Jet game for Jets Broncos, I had someone like, hey, Matt, hey, Matt, hey, Matt, hey, Matt, hey, you, Matt. And I was like, I just turned around and said, hi. Like, I realized the guy was yelling at me and excited. I didn't want to burst his bubble. But I've gotten mad a bunch of times. It's Ryan. Ryan from Jets Talk. It's on every video. Every video. I got to name the channel Ryan. That's what I got to do. It's all right. Jay. Ryan, what's the chance this organization does the smart thing and hires a legit president front office instead of Woody just picking another year? Well, according to U Stadium, Woody Johnson is hesitant to bring in a football guy to run the team as president. That's what we read. Terrible. Terrible. They hate us. Sorry, it's because you said weary earlier, and that made me think of Matt O'Leary. That's all right. O'Leary's a good-looking dude. I'm a good-looking dude. It's easy to get us confused. The user. Ryan, can we just throw you in at quarterback and see where that takes us? Feel like you can get more wins than Rodgers. I am not tall. I am 5'9". I can't see over the offensive line. I used to be fast. There's no way this 35-year-old body is hustling the way I used to hustle in high school. But I appreciate your vote of confidence. I could get us the first pick. I wouldn't even shave points. Just stink. I would be very bad at the quarterback position. I don't have the biggest hands either. Like gripping an NFL football, look like a child. Fonzo, I just hope we can beat Miami so they could shut up. I don't want to beat Miami. I don't want to beat Miami at all. I hate Miami, but I am very much team like lose every game. And I'm not going to be like overly upset if we win a game, but like I don't want to like, if I could plan my next, how many weeks we got left? 6 weeks? Is that how many games we got? 5 weeks? I would just say, pencil me in for 5 losses. I'm cool with that. Let's get into the offseason, get the best possible things we can get. Backwood says, Cam Ward. I wouldn't hate that. You're going to have to get a top 2 or 3 pick, though. I wish I had a 35-year-old body. My wife like fluffed me up a little bit today. I was pretty. She's just like, that's why. Oh, you've been working out. Like that's why you're staying up late. I'm like, no, I appreciate it. I've not been working out. You know they'll win more than 3 games. I know it's gonna happen. So stupid to root for the Jets when they mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Yeah, look, I'm not going to get mad at people wanting to like win games. There's not a player in this draft that I look at and I say, that is the guy. Like that, like last year's draft, Marvin Harrison Jr., Odunze, Malik Neighbors, Joe Alt. Like there was a lot of studs at the top of that draft. I don't see that the same way in this draft class. I think this is a very middle heavy draft. Lots of edge rushers. Like there's players I like at the top part of this draft, but I think because I'm not necessarily dialed into one specific position, I think I'm a little more lackadaisical about it. Tigo and I are on the same page. McMillan is him. Yeah, the receiver from Arizona. This dude's 6'5" and just catches everything. And he seems like he's got a real good head on his shoulders too. Like if Devontae is gone, I would absolutely sign off on that pick because I don't know what happens with Garrett. Best case scenario, you have Garrett and you have McMillan, and it's like 2 wildly different styles of play. That you could benefit from with a young quarterback in Jordan Travis. You give him the best opportunity. If you want to go for an Arch Manning next year, you at least have a plethora of pieces around him. You hopefully figure out the offensive line through all this. I am on board with this, Tigo, 100%. 100%. Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson probably both leaving. That's crazy pickup. Crazy make-up pick, in my opinion. Yeah, I hope that Garrett doesn't leave, but I'm on the same wavelength as you. Same wavelength. All right. Boys and girls, I'm shot. I'm tired. I'm going to wrap this up here. So if you got any questions, throw them in real fast because your boy's going to be catching a little snoozy time soon. But before I do, I do have to acknowledge the sponsor of our channel. That is BetUS. You guys can head over there, get 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 with the code YouTube150. They have the odds for who's going to win the AFC, not the 1 seed, but the overall conference making it to the Super Bowl. I like the Ravens. That's who I'm pulling for in the AFC right now. And then the Texans, if you like a little bit more of that plus 200 money line. Not money line, plus 200 odds. But head over to BetUS if you want to help support the channel, support the sponsor of the channel. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching the show. Really, really means a lot. We had close to 300 people at one point in this stream. Not bad for a day I don't normally stream. So we'll do the call-in show tomorrow since we did the little talk back and forth here today. So call-in show is going to be 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock tomorrow, and then 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I'm on with Dom C over on the Talking Jets channel. So we're flip-flopping those two shows. Dom has, I believe it's baseball practice, football practice, something like that with his kids. So we're going to flip-flop a little bit there. But it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Jets Talk, signing off. JETS.
One, two, three.